Hi everyone, welcome back to Plum Mashable. So for today's video I'm going to be using the new Uniquely Creative mini kit that's called Unicorn Magic. So let's go ahead and get to it. Okay, so today we're going to be using the brand new Uniquely Creative mini kit to make a card. This is the Unicorn Magic mini kit. So I get sent everything because this is my design team project. So just ignore the fact that it doesn't look like it's got the outside on it, but you get 4 big unicorns in this, a couple of sentiments. I'm missing one's still in my Misty from the last time, and a couple of little ones as well. They are so super cute. I cannot wait to show you what I've been making with this. You also get the die set. There's a stencil in here that I'm not going to show you today, and there's also a laser cut which we're going to use today because I like using them. I find that they're really fun. So to start off with, I'm going to make a little thing. I'm using pink today. I'm a little nervous about using pink. I don't feel like I do it particularly well, but we're going to give it a shot. So I think I know what I'm doing. So the first thing I'm going to grab is, this is a piece of the paper that comes in the kit. And I'm grabbing the largest of my large slim rectangles. These are Uniquely Creative dies. They are fantastic. I'm just sticking them down. Now this just fits. So you can see it's right on the edge here. When I cut this, it'll be fine, but it is right on the edge, which is why I kind of made sure it was sticking right in the right spot. I am very nervous. I'm always very nervous when I cut paper right on the edges that it's going to move and it's going to stuff me up, but we'll see how we go. I'm going to run that through again just because I really want the stitching detail. I don't mind if the line's gone. I can fix that. There we go. Bring that back in. Just peeling that up gently so I don't tear up any of the colour. There we go. And that's actually cut really well. I'm happy with that. You can't tell that it was right on the edge. Oh, you can a little bit, but only a little bit. And then I'm going to grab a piece of white cardboard, or cardstock. Yeah, go cardboard. I thought I had another bit here. It was already cut in half. Apparently I don't. I'm going to use this one. This is, what is it called? I'm very unorganised today. This one's the Slim Circle Window. This one doesn't come with any stitching. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it out of my bit of white cardboard here. So just trim. And then I'm going to bring in, actually let's do the inking first. So I'm just going to grab a little bit of washi just to hold this down. So we're going with pink. So you know what, let's lean into the pink. And let's do a lot of pink. So I've got that there. Just going to grab my brushes. And then let's play with Picked Raspberry, Kitsch Flamingo, and Worn Lipstick. And I'm going to do a fade up. So if I'm doing a fade up, I need to spin this around. I just know the way I ink. So we'll start off with the darkest, which is that Picked Raspberry. And all I'm going to do is, I know roughly, it's roughly this size, but hold on, we'll get the right one. So I really only need to go to about here. Just mark that with a pencil, just so I know where to stop. So I'm just going to go ahead and ink this. So just straight off, starting off the mat and then on. And I'm just going to do just a plain blend here, and then we'll add some water and some speckles in just a minute. So we'll start with that, like I said, the Picked Raspberry. And then we'll come into the Kitsch Flamingo, same brush. And just mix them together, blend it up. Doesn't matter if it doesn't get a perfect blend first time. You can always come back and add some to make the blend a bit better. And then once I've finished this colour, I'm going to go into the Worn Lipstick. And then I'll be right back when my blend is done. know why, but it hasn't quite given me the colour variation that I want. It's okay. I'm happy to go with it. Oh, actually it looks better that way. It just looked funny sideways, but now that it's the right way, it looks okay again. Oh, mess. And then of course we have to add a little bit of texture to this. So I've got my distress spray here. I'm just going to come at this from fair way up because I want that to be sort of fine. But then I'll add in some bigger splotches in a minute. So pick that up. Ooh. It just looks like fairy floss. That's what I think it looks like to me. It looks like fairy floss. Okay. So I'm just going to hit this with the heat tool. Actually, before I do, I'm just going to add in a little bit of white paint as well. I just want some white splatter on here. So this is white watercolour paint. It's actually just from Kmart. Nothing fancy. A little bit of water and just a little paintbrush. I just want to get just some little flicks of it. It's just adding a slightly different texture. It's not required, but I like the extra little bit. I'm just going to grab a little bit more water. This is even more watered down now, but it'll flick easier. I'm just having a look at that. No, it still needs something more. So, what have I got? What have I got that's pink? I know what I've got that's pink. These are my Gansey Tambi gem colours. So add some water to this one. This will add a bit of sparkle as well, because let's face it, unicorns need a bit of sparkle. And actually we'll even come in with just a little bit of starry stuff in just a sec too. Let's have a look. That should be fine for that bit. And we'll grab that starry. So I'm just going to use the white, I call it silver, but it's not, it's white gold. I'm not actually even cleaning my brushes in between. I don't mind if this has got a slight pink tinge to it. Whoops! If you saw my face right now, I've got bits of white paint all over it. May have made that a little bit too liquidy, but it'll be fine. Let's have a look. Can I see some shimmer? And that's given me really lovely fine little white dots, or silvery dots, which I like. So I'm going to hit this with the heat tool because I want it to be completely dry before we start trying to run it through the die cut machine. So I'm going to do that and I'll be right back. So then we're going to grab that circles die again. Just making sure I've got it. Here we go. So I'm going to cut that out. Now this doesn't come with any stitching around the outside, which is great because it means you can cut this down a little bit or use a different kind of die with it. So you'll see in a minute what I'm going to do. So I'm just going to stick that on the plate. Now the only thing about this is that sometimes you've got to run it through twice because you might not have got the whole thing underneath my sandwich. I think I'm okay this time. So I'm going to get these awesome pink circles in the background, which I may or may not still use. I haven't decided. And then we'll get the actual piece. I'm not going to move this off because I need it again in just a sec. So there's the little background. But when you look at it against the one we've already cut, it is the exact same size. Oh no! I got a little bit, damn. It's alright. It's all good. It's all good. Not freaking out. There. No one will ever tell. Just me. So I'm grabbing my Slimline and I want to grab the scalloped nesting rectangles. I'm going to cut the scallop out. So see how it's just going to cut that little bit off? So it'll make this into a really lovely shape, but it's going to keep those 3 circles, which will still have my stitch detail. I love playing with all the different layers. It's my favourite thing. I've had so much fun doing it with my Christmas cards, playing with layers and playing with different shapes layered up, and that's Uniquely Creative have some of the best. They're all Aussie size, which if you're Australian is such a gigantic advantage. But then to have all the scallops. So I've got the slim lines, the squares, the circles, and the rectangles. You just have so much fun with all the different combinations that you can make. So we'll take this out. Whoops, drop the die cut machine. So just being gentle with my washing because I don't want to ruin this now. I'm a little worried that I've maybe gone too pink. Oh no! What did I just say? Alright, what did I just say? I was going slow too. I just want to see if I can hide it enough. I think I can. I think that's okay. It needs a little bit of splatter now because it's a bit hidden. Damn. Well, that was just silly. It's all good. It'll be fine. Nothing to worry about. It happens to the best of us. But I'm just annoyed at myself now. Anyway, that'll be fine. I'll see if I can hide it in a minute anyway. But I am a little worried that this may be too pink. I am a little worried about it being too pink. It's just a little. It's not a lot too pink. It is too pink for me, but the only thing I could do is flip it and have that. But I don't like that pink on that blue. I think that's a bit, it looks a bit much. Let's keep going for now and we'll see how we go along the way. So the next thing I want to do is play with the laser cut. I'm actually going to do a couple of different things with this. So I'm actually going to remove the parts that I don't want to use as opposed to removing the parts that I do. So I don't want to use this rainbow. I'm going to use this on another card. And there's also a smile in here. So I'm just getting rid of the rainbow and then I'm getting rid of the smile. The good thing is with these laser cuts that you can just cut and it'll come out. I do want the You Are Magical. I do need to just clean this up a little bit because I'm going to use some white pigment ink. And I don't like picking up anything. Okay, so grabbing my unicorn white pigment ink because all I want to do here is just turn it a little bit whiter than it is. So it's obviously a slight wood colour at the moment. So I'm just going to put that down and I'm just inking it up. It's nothing fancy. I'm just putting down a lot of ink on it. I'm going to get ink all over my hands as well, but that's okay. And then I'm just going to put it up to this top just while I wipe this up. And then while that's still wet, I want to cover it with a clear embossing powder because it'll give it this kind of glaze thing, but I want it to be white. So this is my Sizzix clear embossing powder. It doesn't have to be this powder, just any clear embossing powder will work. Cover that up. Grab my tweezers. I'm going to grab my reverse tweezers for this one, that way I don't have to hold it. Just pinching that little bit there. So I'm just going to put that down and just let it cool down for a sec. It looks like it's warped, but it hasn't. That's just the powder. It's just a little bit what I like to call bumpy. So what I'm going to do is grab my embossing ink. Same thing we just did. Cover this up. Actually, I have missed some of the powder. I'm just going to really quickly reheat that. I'm just going to run over with some embossing ink and just dip it back in. It'll just give it a nicer finish because it won't be quite so clumpy. So just all over the place with that and then dip it back in. That's why I didn't put it away. And we'll go ahead and reheat that again. Try and get rid of some of the fluffy bits. It doesn't look as white as I wanted it to be, but that's my own fault. Go ahead and reheat this and I'll be right back. So I'm really quickly off camera going to go ahead and do that exact same thing with a couple of these little stars and hearts, and this is why I left it in, because I'm just going to do the whole kind of thing. So there's a couple of stars and a couple of hearts here and then some more at the bottom. Do the whole thing with the white and then the clear, and I'll be right back. Alright, I'm sure you guys actually can't see all that much of a difference. Trust me, I can, and it's much, they look much whiter, which is what I was going for. And yeah, it'll all look good eventually. So what I want to do is I want to put the You Are Magical here. And so this is where the white had to come from, because I needed the white to bring in those stars. Now that I've got that, I don't think the pink's too much. I feel like it's fine. And then I'm going to use the hearts and stars as we go through this to sort of scatter around the place. But we do need to bring in some of the dies, the stamps, sorry, because you can't have the whole thing as just dies. So I have 2 of the unicorns that I'm going to chuck into my Misty. That's where the other sentiment went. I knew it was there somewhere. It just says have a magical day. I'm going to put these in here. I'm going to colour these in as well. So I'm just stamping this down onto some Express It blending card, and I'm going to use my Copic markers to colour them in. I'm going to use my Hero Arts Intense Black ink because it's my favourite for stamping when I'm using Copics. The reason I like using the Misty is because this way, if I make a mistake or if it's not a perfect impression, because these are brand new stamps, I can always just re-stamp them or double stamp them to make a slightly more crisp image. So see, that's a little bit light for me, so I'm just going to add in another layer. Because I've used the Misty, I don't have to worry about it moving. Perfect. All right, so we're going to stick with pink. I want my unicorns to be pink, the actual unicorns themselves. So the lightest pink I own. Let's have a look at my colours. I think the lightest pink I own is RV00, which is almost a purple. It's sort of the wrong kind of thing. Okay, so I'm going to use R00 because that's a little bit pink. And I'm going to just blend that a little bit with the blender. Hold on. R00. No, I'm just going to just use that, just colour on its own for this first unicorn. The second one, actually no. I can't do the whole thing pink, can I? Can I? If Desley were here, she'd tell me. I feel like this is a card just made for Desley. Alright, I'm just going to have a go here, because if I mess it up, I can always just go and get another. I can always stamp it out again. So I'm colouring him in. So I'm putting the dark, so the dark being this very, very pale pink. Actually. So my next sort of step up would be R11. So I'm going to use that as my dark and then the R00 as my light, because it's really not that much more. So I'm just going to put that darker colour where I would want my shadows. I think it'll be fine once it's got the hair on it. So that was R11 and R00. For the hair on the unicorn, I want to do something a little bit brighter and bolder. So I'm going to go RV13 and RV14. I'm really scared now. This is so not my colour palette. I know I've used these markers before, but it's just not where I'm happy. Uh-oh. So I've just had a little bit of bleeding, but it'll be fine. I find with my Copics that the reds and the red derived colours are the only ones I ever have a trouble with bleeding. Even my YRs, sometimes the oranges can be a bit much. So I just try to be a bit more careful, but I just forgot. Well, I like that. I do like that. So at least that's a plus. I'll add some texture to her in a minute. Now the hard part is that R11. It's the colour that I would normally use for my my blush. I've got R20. I might use that in a sec. Okay, we're gonna do the horn first. So I'm gonna use my toner grays because I want it to look a little bit silvery, and I'll add some glitter in a minute so that it feels even more silvery. So I'll just put just a little bit there, and I'm also just going to put just some on her hooves, and then just blend out the hooves with T0. Just realised I've missed a bit. And I'm just going to just put a little bit of the T0 on the horn just to blend that out a little bit too. And then for her muzzle, I'm just using this one. This is E quadruple 0. There's basically no colour in that, but it just needs a little bit. Okay, and then we just need the blush. So we'll put that here and here. It needs one more thing. This is something I don't do particularly often. I do have a black glaze pen. I don't know why. The glaze pens, sometimes I think they make my critters look really good. Sometimes I think they look a bit silly. That time one eye slightly looks bigger than the other, but I'll just get over it. And then I'll bring in, this is also a glaze pen. This is a clear one, I think. No, I won't, because I'm going to use glitter on that one. Alright, so there's our first little horse. Unicorn. What am I talking about? The second one I'm going to do is more of a rosy colour. So I'm going to come down here instead of up here. So instead of my reds, I'm very much in my R's. So I'm going to do this one R81 and R83, and then use R85 for all of her mane. So I'm going to go ahead and do that really quick, and I'll be right back. Okay, so this is a little trick that I use when it comes to if I haven't got another colour. So I don't have anything else sort of darker than R85. So rather than grabbing another Copic, because I don't have that colour to sort of make some shadows, just going back over where I want to add the shadows with that dark marker again. And it'll tone down in a second once it dries. But it adds another layer, which therefore deepens it up just a little bit. And it's a very subtle kind of addition, but it does give me that kind of finish that I want, which is just to add just a little bit more to it so it doesn't look sort of so one-dimensional. I'm also just going to use this really dark pink to do the hearts here. I feel like I need to keep it together. And then I'm just going to add in a little bit of grey, the same way I did for the other one for the horns, for the horn and the hooves. Work out what I'm going to do with the muzzle. So for the muzzle, I'm going to use RV00. It may be a little bit too bright. No, it's okay. It's fine. And again, just going to use that R20 for a bit of blush, which is completely unnecessary on a pony like this. And then I'm going to use my black glaze pen again to add some eyes. Now, I feel like I went a little hard the last time, so I'm just going to do this very gently. That's better. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and cut these out. Actually, before I do, I need to add my white gel pen highlights. I like doing them first. So I've just got my white glaze pen, white jelly roll pen, sorry. I'm just going to, oh no, that's the clear glaze pen. I thought it was. There we go. I knew it was here somewhere. only thing I don't like, which I just need to add something to, I don't like something about the RV 13 over here. It just needs a little bit more depth. I'm just going back over the top with that RV 13, just giving it a bit more, and I'm actually then going to come in with the RV 14 and just do, this is hair after all, so I'm just giving it just a little bit of a line detail just to give it a bit of texture. It just looks a bit simple to me. So very light strokes, trying not to stuff anything up too much. That's better. It just needed a bit of movement. Alright, so then I'm going to grab the dies that match this one. There we are. Go ahead and cut these out with my die cut machine, and I'll be right back. So we've got that, we've got the magical. I feel like I want to go back over this with a bit of white. It just, that yellow is kind of bugging me. Where's my white? Let's just see. Annoyingly, I don't think that's still quite giving me what I wanted, but I tried. Alright, let's start putting this one together. So I'm trying to decide if I want to do this up on a bit of foam tape so it's got some dimension, or if I want it to sit sort of flat so I can tuck these in behind, because there is going to be some dimension with the, that needs to be the other side. There will be some dimension with the, what am I saying, the laser cut. Just looking at them thinking they just sort of floating in the middle, which is fine, but whereas if I put them up, alright, we'll put them up on some thin foam tape, or thinner foam tape. I'm actually going to grab my Uniquely Creative squares and strips and just use the strips around the outside here. You could turn this, no, you could turn this into a shaker. I'm not going to, but just know that it would be a very simple thing to do. You just put some acetate on the front here and turn it into a very, 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 very simple shaker. I feel like it is a shaker here. Just the way I'm putting it down, it just feels like it's going to be a shaker, but it's not. Now that I've got that one down, let's have a, just flipping it over and having a look. Yeah, that's nice. And then when I put the other foam tape on, it'll have a different thickness of dimension, so it will stick up at a different level. And I actually kind of like the fact that then that laser cut will sit across. So it's just got a little notch here. It's just annoying me. Okay, so I want to get that done soon, or now, before I sort of stick that down too much further. So I'm going to have it just sort of sitting on the side there, so it's really only going to be held just by the little swirly bits. Alright, that's stuck. So let's get the foam tape off the back and put this on the base. This would have made a perfect shaker. I'm kind of secretly annoyed at myself for not doing it that way, but anyway, it can always be changed to a shaker when you guys remake this, and make sure if you do that you tag me, because I want to see how cool it looks. Alright, so flip this over. Oops, I missed one. That down gently. There we go. I like that that's got a bit of shadow behind it. It looks good. Oh, I was really worried that the pink would be too much pink, but it's okay. It's okay. All right, then we need to put in our little unicorns. So like I said, this is a slightly thicker foam tape. The Uniquely Creative ones are 2 mils. I think this foam tape is 3, so it's just a little bit more. So just have a look here. It might be the same. If that's the case, I'm going to double that up because I don't want it to be the same size. I want it to be up further. So I'm going to double that foam up. It's not something I do particularly often. I generally like to stay the same, but I need this to sit up a bit higher. So it just adds just a little bit of extra layer. So I'll go ahead and do this with the other one, and then we'll stick them both down. Finish it off, I'm going to grab out all of those bits and just sort of scatter them around the place. We'll add something to this in a second because it's not quite what I wanted. It didn't need to, it couldn't have been pink. It just would have looked silly pink, but I don't think white has kind of worked either, but that's okay. We're learning. I should have gone silver. I should have done the whole thing silver, but anyway, just maybe too many hearts. As a final finishing kind of touch, I just need to add a little bit of glitter on here. So I'm just going to do, this is a sparkle pen. I'm just going to add that to the horns and the hooves. And then I'm just, out of interest, I'm going to put them a little bit on the stars and the hearts. I don't know if it'll sit because it's got that sort of glaze to it, but we'll find out. It does still look white, it just doesn't look as white as I wanted it to. But there you have it, there's my unicorn slimline card using the new Unicorn Magic collection from Uniquely Creative. It's not my, pink is not my thing, you guys know this. But I'm actually really comfortable with this. I actually feel like it's worked out as, I'm happy to say that the laser cut didn't quite work the way I wanted it to. But I think the rest of it is really lovely, even if it is a little bit too pink. But I hope you guys did enjoy it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Keep your eye out on the Uniquely Creative blog for so many other amazing projects using this kit. It's absolutely stunning what people have come up with. So I hope you can follow along with those and love those just as much. If you want to see more Uniquely Creative, make sure you subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out. Hope you have an absolutely awesome rest of your day, and I will catch you again in my next video. Sending lots of huggles!